Vice Mayor works very hard.
What is going on?
Did you read something into that? I'm sorry. Everybody ready? Welcome to the Lancaster City Council meeting. Let's call it to order. City Clerk.
City Council Member, Agency Director, Authority Member Mann.
Present.
Smith.
Here.
Underwood Jacobs.
Present.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Christ.
Present.
Mayor Chairman Paris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The invocation tonight will be Chaplain Jason Knudsen from the United States Air Force.
Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we pause for a moment and ask you to hear our prayer today. With grateful hearts, we acknowledge the good you are doing in our lives and in our community. There are many positive signs, such as property values on the rise, unemployment declining, economic indicators that are showing improvement, and we thank you for all of these. We ask for your blessing upon Lancaster, our nation, and our world, that we as individuals and as nations would grow in health, stability, and deeper faith in you. Today, this council will work hard on a variety of issues, such as street and sewage improvement, tree trimming and recycling, but also with some of the challenges that governance brings along, like litigation. Please grant Angela and Ron, Ken, Marvin, and Rex, and all those that work alongside them, wisdom to lead this wonderful community. A prophet of old wrote that you desire people to act justly, to love kindness and mercy, and to walk humbly with you, O Lord. Please help us to do so. And we thank you so much that you provide daily proofs of your clear love that we can see and experience as we follow you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Ron, you want to do the pledge?
Yes, thank you. Everyone place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Give me a moment while the mayor chokes to death. Better.
You all right?
Yeah, I'll make it. Wouldn't that make the 6 o'clock news? The vice mayor giving me a Heimlich maneuver. Okay. It really is a short agenda, isn't it? Any items to be removed?
No, sir.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
I got the second, didn't I?
Yes.
Anything on the consent calendar? to be
Second in
removed?
there.
CC5 and CC9.
Okay, is there a motion as to the remaining items?
Motion to approve the consent calendar is currently comprised, pulling CC5 and CC9.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Let's vote. It's unanimous, I think. Mr. Mann,
Did I not vote?
let's try it again.
Try it again, please.
Okay, because it locked up. And
It's unanimous. CC5. Is there a speaker card on that? Oh. CC5 and CC9, Mr. Reeves.
Mayor Paris, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to speak on CC5 and CC9. CC5 is an agreement for $300,000 for consulting services for Lancaster Choice Energy. I have no objection to that. I just hope that the materials that they distribute are simple and straight to the point. I saw something in the paper today I thought approaches what we need to emphasize, which is the difference between Edison and the city and how simple it is and how much you're going to save. And not to get too complicated. Some of the flyers I got in the mail are too complicated, but the ad I saw in the paper today was not complicated. It was straightforward, and that's how we need to explain it for people like me and other seniors can understand it. CC9 is, we've talked about this before. The city spends a lot of money to have the grass mowed and the trees trimmed. And here we are spending $200,000 for professional tree maintenance. I would prefer to have that money spent to hire some full-time employees and pay them $50,000 a year. You know, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars do we pay out a year to contract to get the grass mowed and the trees trimmed? Why don't we create some jobs in the city? Maybe 4 or 5 jobs doesn't mean a whole lot, but if you're paying somebody $50,000 a year and up, it would mean a lot to them. So I wish the city would think about that, hiring their own tree trimmers and grass mowers. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Michael, I just have trouble seeing you up there in a tree. Thank you.
Motion to approve CC5 and CC9.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Let's vote.
Ken?
Did it again. Can we try again? Thank you.
It worked that time, I think.
Well, Ken,
How long have you been here?
20-some years, I think. You'd think I'd get that right.
Yeah.
okay, moving on. Or is there a speaker card on MB1?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Lawson.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council and the Criminal Justice Commission, we're before you tonight to ask approval of a commercial and industrial incentive program. This is something that you've done in the past, and we find that we now have people that are interested in our community to build buildings on speculation. In fact, we have a couple of different locations. This is something we haven't seen in a long time because of the recession, obviously. What we're specifically asking is that you would allow the impact fees that we charge on a project to not be paid at the issuance of the building permit, but instead paid when we did the certificate of occupancy. And what it does for somebody building a spec building, basically it's just less financing that they need to find. Something we've done before, and we think it makes sense for all commercial and industrial projects. We are not asking, however, that you waive what are known as director's review fee and fees that actually pay for specific actions that the staff takes. The impact fees are fees that go into different funds like the Traffic Impact Fund, the Traffic Signal Fund, and those will simply get the money a little later, but it won't affect the operation of City Hall. We're excited with this. One gentleman wants to build a 30,000 square foot building that'll be subdivided into 2,500 foot spaces, which will provide new locations for 12 businesses if they're 2,500 square feet. What I think we'll see is not just startups, but we'll also see what we call baby businesses, companies that maybe are operating out of a kitchen now that will move into these spaces. And so it's just a whole process that goes on. We've had a lot of spec development over the years in the city of Lancaster, and we think this is a good opportunity to get that started. On a couple of notes, from a positive standpoint, this week I coincidentally happened to be talking to the head of Morton Manufacturing. They are fully moved up now, and in a week we'll have 100% everything going. They've closed down in Santa Clarita. I think it took a little longer than everybody expected. It was a situation where they had to get certification on the machinery that they brought up here. I happened to talk to Jack Cole this week. Lance Camper is up to 500 employees now, and it's primarily because the RV business has turned around and they've diversified their products. Originally, they just made truck campers. Today, they make travel trailers that are designed to be pulled by, like a Honda Pilot, not a big giant truck. And then we had a spectacular presentation today by BYD at the Board of Trade Conference, and the press will have stuff tomorrow on it. But I think those of us that knew the situation were impressed with the level that they're looking at, and certainly the mayor's leadership and city manager on this project really is going to pay great dividends in the future. So all kinds of green shoots, and we just think this is something that'll allow a segment of our economy to recover, and we're delighted to answer any questions if you have them.
What's the anticipated jobs from BYD?
I think the chart that they showed today topped at 600 jobs. Yeah, almost 700, and pretty rapidly. I mean, and he did a superb job, I thought, in talking about the different products that they're going to push and the reasons that they're going to push once they have a relationship with UPS, for instance.
It was actually almost 700 by 2017/2018, and one of the beauties, I'm sorry for interrupting, their timeline showed them getting into new businesses in terms of months, not years, like September and then June of next year. So they're well on their way.
Okay, and that's just the initial ramp up?
That's the initial ramp up for their business, which is electrifying vehicles. That gets them through electric buses and coaches, and then also includes trash trucks and utility trucks and work trucks. Then they get past that, they get into commercial vehicles and such, and then consumer vehicles.
Does that include the storage units, the power storage units?
That did not include that. That was a separate business line. They did go into that. And then Councilwoman Jacobs represented us, Underwood Jacobs, at the meeting as well, too.
Yeah,
So what's the available housing units we have now? Can you give me a rough number?
No, I really can't. I mean, I don't know. The
around-
vacancy varies.
So
We have-
little housing units?
Right.
It's like 47, 48,000, right around there.
Empty, available.
No, I'm
Total.
sorry. No, that's total housing stock. I don't know the vacancy.
Liz, you don't know off the top of your head, ballpark. I would suspect that occupancy is pretty high just because not many new units have been built, and I think that's all positive. I think the builders that look up in this area, and the job creation is everything with the B-3 bomber on the horizon. I think we could really see the beginning of.
With the Northrop ramp up, with the BYD and Kinky Shihiro, are they fully ramped up yet?
What?
Are they ramped up yet on employment?
Yes, they are. Yeah, not to the extent that they had planned to go. Originally, we were planning to build a 447,000 square foot building, and they're not going to do that, which is a shame because I think they would have been a great long-term employer in the Antelope Valley. But they are fully functional at the L.A. Department of Airports building, that the whole hangar that they built the B-1 in, and so.
Every indication is we're going to be seeing a housing boom again. I want to
Yes.
make certain that we are ready and not just, you follow me?
Yes,
Every new
absolutely.
thing we want to do, I want to make certain it's done before that happens. Fair enough?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's get a projection based on the different employers ramping up, when we think they're going to start, and let's have everything in place by that time.
Of course, we have a huge competitive advantage. Our median price for a new house in the Antelope Valley is in the $160,000 range. That's 50% of the over $300,000 that the rest of the county has. And so they've picked up a lot. And quite honestly, the prices have jumped, quite a bit. Down in Santa Clarita, they have actually got track houses that are selling $600,000 now. And so it gives us more of a competitive advantage. And
Or disadvantage.
Yeah.
Or disadvantage, depending on who.
I'm talking about affordability, but yes, no, I hear what you're saying. Right.
I just want us to make certain we have a plan in place so that we shift the occupancy in a direction we want it to be shifted.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Yeah, I agree completely.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Michael Reeves.
Mayor Paris, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I just finished a book. It was called The Price of Silence. The Price of Silence, and it was written by a well-known reporter, very extensive book.
Is this an offer?
Friedland was no. The point of the book was talking about the inequality of the wealth in the world between the 1% and 0.1% inside the 1% and the rest of the 99%. And one of the things that the author spoke about was what they call the renter's policy, whereas these people in the 1% get the government to do many things for them, and that contributes to their wealth besides income. And this is a perfect example of the book. I could write the author and say we could use this. We're giving the 1% a break. We ought to give the 99% of the people the break. You know, this is the inequality in our society is almost insane, where you have so many billionaires and you have so many people on the other end of the spectrum. And I can't see this. I can't see this. These people that plan these construction projects, they plan for fees and so forth. They don't need any breaks from us. They have enough money. We don't have to participate in this wealth, this transfer of wealth to someone else. We keep the wealth. If we want to help somebody, we help the 99%. Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't need to respond to that, do we?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I was
Motion to
confused.
approve NB1.
I'll second that.
Well, let's vote. Come on, Ken, you can do it.
There you go.
It's unanimous.
I'm going to move over there.
Okay, do we got a card on NB2?
No.
You guys want to waive reading?
Yes.
Let's waive it. Is there a motion?
Motion to receive and file NB2.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, voice vote?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Rex. I
unanimous.
appreciate that.
Wow, we're all ready for discussions. So is there a reason we have council meetings every 2 weeks instead of once a month?
I got this.
Thank you. I was at a
Can't
loss
wait.
for words.
We were at one of our other meetings today, and they were telling us how they can't accomplish anything because they only meet once a month.
Those guys couldn't accomplish anything if they met every
I'm
day.
just telling you, so we need to stay at 2 a month. If you quit
Okay.
talking about it, we'd be out of here.
Okay,
I'm good with the current meetings.
we're going to be opening applications for vice mayor soon. Okay. Speaker cards.
No, we got
Oh.
to do CA.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Council agenda item 1, city manager.
At the last meeting, the mayor asked that this be put before the council to discuss and consider a position on State Constitutional Amendment 8, which is working its way through the legislature right now. If it were passed and I believe signed, it would then go before the voters in November of 16 to see if they would like to pass it. In simple terms, it would expand Board of Supervisors from 5 members to 7 members in any county with a population over 2 million. In Southern California, that's Orange, Riverside, Los Angeles, San Diego, and one other which I'm missing, possibly San Bernardino, and I think there's 2 in Northern California. The interest in it's somewhat bipartisan in that our own State Senator Sharon Runner is one of the co-authors of it. One of the interesting features of it that I haven't seen in the past is it freezes the budget for those Board of Supervisor offices, staffing, et cetera, at the same level that it would be when there was 5. So, for example, if LA County had a budget of $15 million for its current 5-member supervisor board and staff, it would stay at $15 million. It would just need to be split 7 ways. So that's the short of it, and I think we have a representative here from the Senator's office if you have additional questions.
Rick, come on down.
Mayor, City Council, staff.
So if it passes, when is the when would we seat a city?
Well, on August
supervisor.
17th, it goes back into hearing at the Appropriations Committee. Then it would go to Assembly and go through the process, and then it would go to the governor's desk. So it has to be heard 3 times in Assembly, too.
So it wouldn't be this coming election, it would be the following,
Right. Correct.
2 years later.
Let's say 2016.
How could it be
I don't think it has to go
2016?
2017.
I think you're talking about the effective date, not
Well, the
when it would be
effective date,
voted?
yeah. Effective date would be 2017, yes.
Okay, good. Is it going to pass?
I think so. It requires a 2/3 vote, but we don't have a supermajority in the Senate, so it seems to be a pretty bipartisan bill.
Will the governor sign it?
Excuse me, sir?
Will the governor sign it?
Well, I'll leave that to you to see if he will.
He's
I
not
think he
talking
will.
to me lately.
I think he will, because it just makes sense. I mean, yeah, it does make sense to do this. I mean, when you have 2 million people that's being representative, as you well know, even with LA County, it's hard to get representation with just 5 members.
Rick,
No.
you want to go into how this affects us?
I
You want to
think
go
it'll
into how
give-
this affects us?
I think it will, especially for northern LA County, I think it'll give us better opportunity and better representation up here. We always say we have to go down below. We've always referred to LA County as we are the ugly stepsister of LA County. So I think it will benefit us tremendously. And we'll actually have maybe a better impact on voting who we want to see in office.
Angela, want to be a supervisor?
Not exactly sure how to respond to that question.
Let me know.
She already is.
Thank you. Any questions, you guys? Okay, good. Is there a motion?
Motion to support the Senate Constitutional Amendment 8.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Let's vote. It passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Cook. Okay, moving on. Council reports. Anything fun happening while
Lots of stuff happening.
who wants to start?
Angela?
Okay, well, a couple of weeks ago, we actually met with the AV Board of Trade Transportation Committee, and we discussed Revive 25 along with Traction Seal. We also went to, on the 16th of July, to AV Partners for Health, ribbon cutting and open house, where they had approximately 250 people there to view this, so it was a really nice event. The next day, Special Olympics Torch Run came to the city of Lancaster, and it was an awesome, awesome event to see everybody running up that way, and it was very exciting, and I was very proud to be there. Later on that evening, MOA celebrated the opening of their summer exhibit, which was called Play, Create, and Collect. Very nice event as well. And then on the 21st, we had a meeting with AVA QMD, which I sat in on behalf of So, gosh, there's a lot of things going on.
Ask her what happened.
So what happened?
Well, we heard a presentation from, I believe his name is Brett. And
Who?
is it Brett or Brent? I'm not sure if his name is first name.
Oh, yeah, the executive director. Okay.
Yes. And we had, it was a good meeting. It was an informative meeting. I don't recall exactly the presentation now on there.
We had presentations on senior subsidies, so we redid those.
Yeah.
Hey, this is giving away money to seniors. Help us out here.
And then today, we had a meeting with AVTA, and we discussed the seniors riding for free. Our neighbors to the south were a bit on the fence, as opposed, they felt as though they had not been, they hadn't had the opportunity to discuss the actual dollars that would be put up so that we would be able to match and make sure that our seniors ride for free. So there was a bit of conversation that went on for that. And
You know this?
Yes, I was there.
It's been going on for 2 months, right?
Right, well,
Yes.
if I can speak right now, if I can interrupt a minute here.
please.
After the meeting was over, I...
Come out to the mic, friend.
I gotta get my motor running.
That's what Rex says.
Yeah, this motor running.
That's a line from a song.
I know, get your motor running. Yes, I was there this morning at the meeting, and after the meeting, I was outside waiting for access. Anyway, I had a chance to speak directly to Stephen from Palmdale. I let him speak a little bit to whatever he was saying. But I asked him directly, what's the big deal about the $50,000? I said, this is not something that was, because he had said at the meeting that this was something like it was something new that just happened 4 days ago. And this has been happening for months now. Why couldn't they get their act together and put in their $50,000? In essence, he kind of just shunned me on. He didn't really want to answer me. All he kept saying was they had to get their numbers together and to figure out how they were going to get this money. I said, it's only $50,000. I mean, gee whiz. Anyway, I said my piece with him, and I think I made a little dent in his mind. Thank you.
That's assuming a lot, isn't it?
I think.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, you were at the meeting. What was your take?
Well, I'll clean it up. It was embarrassing because essentially every time someone disagrees, it gets put off as politics, and you never look at the substance of the issue. And I don't blame just elected staffs, I blame staffs, whatever, but the core of the item was, and I could tell you and Angela were frustrated, was another agency was giving $200,000 that would help seniors ride free and buy electric buses, and all each of the jurisdictions had to do was commit to give $50,000. They didn't have to commit right there. Just direct staff to create a program that would allow the jurisdictions to match that, and seniors would ride for free, and they'd be money for electric buses. And it comes out of money that they have in abundance. And it was just, and I can tell you were both frustrated there, it was just beyond me how that wasn't the simplest item to approve. It doesn't take 2 months. It should have taken 2 minutes. It was very frustrating.
It was bureaucracy at its best. They took a vote, and with the vote, they denied senior coverage in April. And we've been trying to unwind that and get our seniors the coverage that they need for 3 months now, and they can't say yes to it. So for 3 months, we've been working on this. They said they haven't had a council meeting since we proposed it. This is our 4th meeting in which we've talked about it. So another good example of why we should meet every 2 weeks.
Well, are the seniors riding or not?
They're riding for free. The county voted with us. They did a good job. We appreciate their help and their support. But if they would all abstain, it still would have passed with the city of Lancaster voting yes. But the county did vote yes with it. And so the seniors will be riding for free. We'll be able to get them a TAP card. We're working out. Fran, you worked a plan with Wendy today that my understanding as far as AVTA will actually go over to the senior center and develop the TAP cards right there with them so they don't have to go over to AVTA to get the TAP cards. So we'll reach out to the seniors within the different communities. And Lancaster has 57% of the riding seniors in our jurisdiction of AVTA. So
As I mentioned that the seniors can't be going, a lot of them are not even mobile enough to go get these cards, so I'm going to do my best, and I told her I would. I put myself in there, and I said, I'll do it, I'll start getting the people together what they need, and so that when she does come down to talk to them, they'll have their information in hand. So,
Okay, you happy?
I'm happy, but now I gotta work.
Good. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, so the jurisdiction sits, I sit in the middle between, I don't know how I got that seat at the AQMD board, but it has been over 2 months, and the mayor sits to my right, and he specifically said he wasn't even aware originally. Now, this is not this month, this was last month, that he was not even aware it was even on the agenda. But I'm clear that we're all sent, usually 2 to 3 weeks in advance, we're sent the agenda. So I'm not quite for sure whether or not he reads his mail. But he said at that point in time that he would have to go back and take a look whether or not he had the money. Now, at that point, neither myself nor Marvin knew how much cash that they had to be able to support that initiative, because I think last time we checked it was, what, $2 million and some change?
2.3.
Yeah, 2.3. So I think it's kind of absurd for somebody to say, I don't have the money, or I'm not for sure if we've got the money, when in reality there's $2 million and some change in their coffers for something of this, in this particular case, to be able to support seniors riding for free.
It was Prop A money,
Yeah, Prop A money.
transportation.
Money. So that was his answer. So obviously they had at least one meeting since then, at least one, and they probably had close to, I'm guessing, 4 weeks to be able to get it on the agenda to discuss. I just don't think there was any motivation to spend any of that money. That's my opinion.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Any other council reports? Nothing. What about criminal justice? How's the attendance on criminal justice?
It's getting better, actually. We're slowly gaining more traction, and more people are beginning to show up, coming to voice their opinion. And Mr. Paul always has a few words for us.
I mean the members. Are we getting in a quorum? Or we?
Yes, members are present, and we're a full house.
Okay, great. Thank you. City manager, any announcements?
We have 2 videos for you. In addition to obviously working on a lot of the projects the council approved in June in the budget, Medical Main Street, all of that, want to sort of highlight 2 things that happened the last couple of weeks. Angela mentioned one of them, which was the Antelope Valley Partners for Health. That was really quite impressive, and so we have a video on that. And I think, though, the first video is a really engaging exhibit at MOA, and our curator, Andy, is going to take you through and show. But it was a great exhibit, probably our best attended opening, and they had pinball machines, including classic ones. It was a lot of fun.
When we first started, we had a big idea, small money, and it's on and popping now. So people who have no dollars, to whatever size dollars they have, can still get medical help.
I think that people need a place to turn to when they're in need of help, and to be able to have a place right here in your own community where you don't have to go outside of that to seek assistance. I think that's a really great thing. So far, what I've seen has been awesome. In fact, looking around at the facilities, it's beautiful. It's just beautifully done, and the architecture and everything has been really nice. So today has been a wonderful, wonderful event. I have to say that there's probably been a few hundred people here to recognize what they've done for the community of Lancaster, Palmdale, and the surrounding communities. In fact, I believe they said that they touched about 9,000 people last year. So at the end of the day, people care. And when they're given the opportunity to do the right thing, most of the time, we take it. I just felt that it was amazing, and I'm very honored to be a part of this and be here today.
When people don't have anybody to care for them, they can come to the Antelope Valley Partners for help.
We're here at MOA's Summer Show Play, Create, Collect, which includes this very cool pinball exhibit called Thunderdome.
The main gallery is The Art of Toys, which is a 20-plus year retrospective of the designer toy industry. It is a crossover and showing the crossover between artist-made toys and how artists that work in other mediums like painting and illustration and film crossed over into the toy department. And the reason they did that was to make an art object that was affordable for the masses. Saturday we opened to record number attendance. I think it was our largest attended opening day in our history in the new building, which is very exciting. Paul Frank is probably the most famous of the toy designers in this exhibit. And we have here the very first drawing of Julius and the very first conceptual sculpture of Julius, actually made out of a coffee cup, a paper coffee cup from Starbucks.
That's Paul Frank's Julius Empire. What's that?
That is actually RevengeBot, and that is one of the creations of Dave Pressler, who, in addition to being a sculptor and artist, is an animator. And he has an animation show, I believe it's on Saturdays, and it usually revolves around robots and angry robots.
Mashe Elimelech. What's this one all about?
So in the spirit of Play, Create, Collect, which is the theme in the museum, this is an artist who makes work that is actually interactive and invites the viewer to participate in the work. So we're able to take these out and recreate the painting in whatever way that we would like. Thunderdome is a collection in Pasadena, and they were generous enough to loan us these pinball machines for this exhibit and all of the history. This one is a classic pinball machine, and everyone knows the Pinball Wizard. There are also a lot of things that people didn't know about pinball that in some states it's still illegal because it's considered a gambling device. And when they first came out, the pinball machine actually was a gambling device. You put money in it and you got money back. Or you would win credits, which were also considered part of gambling. This exhibit shows that change in technology from the analog and the mechanical all the way through to the digital machines. It also shows the change in graphics and how, in order to sell this as an entertainment device, they went to pop culture and they used the pop culture graphics to sell this as a fun, family-friendly device.
Thank you. I'm going to mix it up. We're going to move the council agency comments up to now. Council, any comments? Anything you want to announce? Good. I want to announce we will be appointing, or I will ask for you to agree to the appointment of Erica Monroe to a deputy mayor position in 2 weeks. So start thinking about that. Let's put that on the agenda. I also want to start thinking about a senior deputy mayor position. So we should think about that, but I don't want to put that on the agenda in 2 weeks. I think that's all I have. The city clerk.
This is the time to address the City Council, agency, and authority on non-agendized matters. Speaker cards can be found on the back table of the council chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. State law prohibits the City Council from taking action on items not on the agenda, and your matter may be referred to the city manager. Thank you.
Fran, you want to go first?
It's already there.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, people, thank you very much for being here and listening to me again. I also this morning at the AVTA meeting, I thanked our mayor, Mayor Paris, our Vice Mayor Chris, and our council for putting up the monies for the seniors to ride free. I also mentioned, and I saw the face in Stephen, about Mr. Ledford not willing to pay their 50%, their $50,000. And I mentioned that our mayor did, our council did, for not only for Lancaster, but for Palmdale and surrounding areas. Okay, changing the subject here a little bit. I'm not quite satisfied way the streets are paved. Is that the way it's going to finish? The way they are now? Because this track and seal stuff doesn't do the trick, because it doesn't cover. You still see all the lumps and bumps. It doesn't fill up any of the crevices. Just like if you got a paintbrush and just paint it black.
Yeah, I think she's right. Tell me about that.
Well, there's various road products. This is in a category called slurry seal, where you essentially put a sealant on the road and it stops it from potholing and things of that nature. This product would extend the life of a road for up to 7 years without potholes and such. But it's not a reconstruction. A reconstruction would cost significantly more. We are experimenting. In fact, before council, I think on August 11th, we're going to have a contract before you to take what we've done and experiment with microwaving it and rolling it and see if at a fraction of the cost of redoing a road, we can get it to also be a little smoother. But this is a typical what you would do with the slurry. If you slurry a road, it doesn't recreate a road, it stops it from potholing.
So I guess what you're saying, it looks ugly, but it's efficient.
Or it looks pretty, but it's not smooth. But it's going to be smooth.
All right, Fran, let's vote. I'm voting for ugly. What do you think?
I vote for ugly, too. Okay, what else do I have here? Oh, I wanted to ask about waste management. I got this card about increasing our bills by 1.70%. How come, if they've got all these, how many billions did you say they had extra, and how come we're going to have to pay more now?
The contract the council approved a couple of years ago, I think it was, actually took away what would have been, it was a double-digit increase. Vice Mayor Christ was instrumental in negotiating that and replaced it with a certain increase that was based on some CPI factors. So while every company has a right to make additional funds if their costs go up, the action of the council, probably the rates are at least 20-some% lower than they would have been without that.
So now they're going to be 21% with it.
19, but yeah.
19.7.
Still better than, yes, a 21% increase.
Okay. I think that covers everything I had to say for now anyway. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fran. Darlene, welcome back. I thought you were kidnapped or something.
You should be so lucky.
It's nice to see you.
Oh, I figured you've been happy long enough, so I thought I'd show up.
Boredom is not happiness. I'd much rather have you here to keep us from being bored. Thank you. Ron and Yvette Emard, how are you?
So
She wants me to talk, but I'm going to ask her to.
Okay. Well, council, mayor and council and
You know,
staff.
you just didn't beat him enough, you know that.
I know, I'll get them later. We are here today because we would like to take a moment to thank you for your support for Thunder on the Lot, for making it happen at the city park, in particular for the city staff. Just an incredible, incredible experience. A well-organized team. We worked well together. Yes, we have some learning curves, and we had to do it one time to make it happen and come together, but it did, and it did well. And we're looking forward to hopefully coming back to the park again next year, and then we'll make some improvements and adjustments, but we are well on our way to a wonderful partnership and experience. So we thank you.
Now, one of the charities, what do we
You know,
see that video on?
Oh,
You
the
know,
AVPH is one of the recipients of the Thunder on the Lot fundraising.
I heard it was flawless. Did I miss something? Seriously, are they lying to me?
Nothing's flawless, but it says here to the mayor, city council, and staff, a thunderous thank you. Now, you have one of these already. This particular piston went 308 miles an hour in 4.7 seconds. A friend of mine had nitro dragsters. He's retired, so this is one of the last ones. And there is another one around here someplace. I think Marvin swiped it, but no, the staff was wonderful. We learned a lot, but because of your actions, we were going to retire Thunder on the Lot, so now we're going to move it over the next 5 years, hopefully, to where we can double what we've made this year and continue to help the local charities in Lancaster and the Antelope Valley.
So what'd you make this year?
Well, we're not completely sure yet because we're figuring out the bills, but we should be able to donate about $150,000.
Wow, that's terrific.
The city homes and with the different charities we deal with.
Good. Now, as you're donating all that money, I want you to remember you did it in Lancaster, okay?
That's why.
That's true.
Anyway, thank you very much.
I want to get a picture. Getting it. Come on, let's go.
Okay, let's not.
What?
Let's keep it on the bottom.
I'm going to. I am. I'm going to make them hold it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, dear. They do a wonderful job for our community, donating, I think it's a little over $4 million to date. So they've done a great job with Thunder on the Lot and over 30 charities.
Mayor, if I may.
That piston goes as fast as Marvin does down Sierra Highway.
Mayor, if I may say, I don't want Ron and Yvette to leave, but in my early life, back in the early 90s,
Hey, that has a different meaning.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead.
I did quite a bit of work, about 10 years with United Way, and I want to let you know that, of course, their mission has changed, but if it wasn't for Ron and Yvette to step up the plate and fill the gap that was once filled by United Way, there's a lot of charities here in the valley that wouldn't be as vibrant as they are today. And I think there's just a lot of people that take things for granted. So, Ron and Yvette, thank you so much for doing what you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Randy Bordeaux? Fran, hers is faster than yours.
We race. Yeah, that's good, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff, and audience. I'm Randy Bardot, and I'm the co-chairperson of the Antelope Valley Seniors Network. We represent over 100 organizations, agencies, departments, and senior residential communities in the Antelope Valley. We represent all seniors in Palmdale and Lancaster. And on behalf on all of us, we would like to thank you for providing all of us, all of our seniors, with the ability to ride for free on the AVTA. And I'd also like to publicly thank Fran Sarasaris for all of her fine efforts, and we sincerely appreciate everyone on behalf of this accomplishment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Randy.
So, Fran, do you think there's any traction in having wheelchair races?
Yeah, they could give me a lot more speed on this thing.
Well, we can hop it up.
I asked for it, but they won't give it to me. They said seniors aren't supposed to go too fast.
We could send it over to BYD and have them. Thanks. Okay. David Paul.
Yeah, a wheelie bar. What means a wheelie bar?
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, good evening. I've wanted to comment on the NB1, but it was thoroughly explained. Thanks to Mr. Ludicky, I was turned on a few months ago to, forgive me if I mispronounce his name, Mahorn, Chuck Marone, okay. Anyway, he's the civil engineer who does the city planning that we've all been reading about. And I was just wondering, Mr. Ludicky, if you've ever studied the works of Richard Wolff, the economist. So he's like that gentleman with the economy, and it makes me feel very comfortable that you think like that. You know, sometimes when you talk about the shape of the future, and that was written in the book when he talks about how you have to present certain things in a certain way because you're either written off as extreme or crazy. But I highlighted one of the things in the book, and somehow it didn't make it into my bag, but in essence what he said was to believe that things will return to normal from the irrational housing bubble that got us into this crisis and is now returning. To think that that's all going to work out well is just completely irrational. So, but I see our city working despite understanding what we're up against, and I really appreciate that. That's our only track. I mean, that's one of the things that he lists in the book as one of the irrational things. We'll find a way to pull out of it. Things are going to change, and we will find a way to pull out of it. But you know, he's talking about the revenue out, and when I read in the thing that they will pay the fees once revenue is starting to be generated, I just wonder what that means and how that affects projects that start and never finish. And but you know, I have every confidence in the city staff working on these things and much more since Mr. Ludicky brought that gentleman in here. And that's the thing. The truth is sometimes hard to comprehend, and it's hard to present to people because people don't want to hear the truth. They want to be preoccupied with the distractions. But we have to work together, and that's all I would like to remind everybody. You know, I read a lot about the early patriots, and these are people that had serious disagreements. But if we all come here to work together and find an actual solution, that's the only hope we have. The only hope we have is that everyone in this room, despite their differing opinions, is a patriot. And that's what I would like to understand, hear them say, that they want to work things out for the best and find solutions instead of just fighting. And those are my closing words. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dave. Great timing, too. Michael Reeves.
Mayor Paris, council staff, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by thanking some people. I want to thank the city manager's office for having the people who own the old Carol's restaurant mow their yard and clean up that place, because that was a blight on the community. It looks a whole lot better. I want to thank Councilwoman Underwood Jacobs for her work on the bus benches and the shelters. I understand they're constructing the shelter right now at 30th West and K. Thank you very much. I want to commend Vice Mayor Christ on conducting the meeting at AVTA today. And Mayor Paris, I want to commend you for opening up the council. You're asking people if they want to talk, so forth, and I appreciate that. That being said, I want to say, I want to be negative.
No.
I'm sorry I have to be negative, Vice Mayor Chris, but today, AVTA did not authorize free rides for seniors. AVTA board voted to charge seniors 75 cents a ride. And until they get their TAP card, they did. They voted to charge them 75 cents. And Wendy Williams said, well, we'll get together at the senior center and fix their TAP cards for they don't have to pay for a whole year. But if they don't get over there, they're going to pay 75 cents. And also, they also postponed the bus service from Palmdale College to Antelope Valley College till they get some buses. So that's the reality. We authorized money, and I asked them to keep it simple. Why can't we go back the old way? If you have the money, why couldn't we go back to the old way of just letting the seniors ride by showing their IDs and stuff? But no, today we passed and we raised the fees. So I guess it's September 1st when it starts. If you haven't got your TAP card fixed and you're senior or disabled, you're going to pay 75 cents. That's unacceptable. And there was total, the meeting was conducted greatly by the vice mayor. He does a great job. But it was total chaos with the people from Palmdale. They needed more time to study the subject. It could have been postponed until next month. They said they wanted more time. If that's what they wanted, we should have given it to them. This is the reality of the situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
I need to respond.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In April, the jurisdiction of Palmdale and the county took away the authorization for disabled people and the seniors to ride for free. That was to take effect July 1st. At that time, they were going to be charged 75 cents. So we pushed it back as far as we could for a September 1st date. The senior subsidy program that we voted on today takes effect September 1st. So the seniors are still riding under the old program right now till September 1st. September 1st, they'll have the opportunity to ride for free if they get a TAP card. So we did vote for them to ride for free. We did not raise any rates today. So I don't know what you were misunderstood about that, Michael. So, okay.
So did we get a proclamation from Palmdale thanking us for paying for their seniors to ride for free?
I told you I wanted those signs on there that said, you know, on those Palmdale buses that said, seniors, you're riding for free on behalf of the city of Lancaster. I like that idea.
Here's the problem, and it's the bureaucracy of what Michael's saying that we should do. How hard is it to say our seniors are going to ride for free? It doesn't matter in the city of Lancaster. We will take that stand. We will make it happen regardless of what it costs us to do. I don't understand how you need 2, 3, 4 months to do that, Michael. So if you need that long, and it took them 10 minutes to say no, and it's taken them 4 months to say maybe, and we need to abstain, and we need to
I just
look at
asked
it
if
in a
we got
different
a
way.
plaque or something.
So no.
Okay. Go figure. Wally Melendez.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor Perez, staff. So I'm going to talk about the buses, and as far as the, first of all, did we pass an ordinance saying that it's illegal to soil the seats of the buses with the dirty shoes?
Yes.
As opposed to clean shoes, or what?
Some bus drivers don't know that we passed that ordinance. And my suggestion is to educate them. And speaking about the bus drivers need to be more responsible for public property, being the buses. Up front, on the top, where they should put their badge numbers, so that the people, the law-abiding people that ride the buses, know the badge number of that bus driver. For example, if you're sitting there and some idiot has got his dirty shoes on the seat, and you don't want to start an altercation with him or her, you can go to the bus driver, and he should know the law, and you should know who you're talking to per his badge number. I've talked about the buses several times up here. I've seen improvement. A lot of the rowdiness has gone down. That's good. Some months ago, rowdiness was the name of the game on the buses, commandeering the buses. That has improved a lot. Thank you, whoever did that.
I worked really hard on that, you know?
Well, okay.
I can't tell you how many buses I sat on and
I only have
supervised.
so much time. Some of the, there are some buses, several buses that are, and excuse my French, decrepit. And
There we go again, Fran. Did you hear that, Fran?
Using the word stink all the time, but that's what they stink from the shoes, from the dirty shoes. Those buses should be discarded. And we have $130-some-odd million in this budget in the city. Why don't we use that? And I keep hearing we're going to get new buses, we're going to get new buses, we're going to get electric buses. I hear a lot of talk and no action. Can I have one more minute, Mayor?
15 seconds.
Thank you, sir. So there's no reason we can't have a world-class bus system in Lancaster. Another thing I want to say, Mayor, the city council elections for the members of the city council should be moved to the regular election cycle, which is the even years, November of the even years, not in April, because that's how you...
Time's up. Thank you. Okay, do we have an executive session tonight? We don't?
No, we do not.
All right, I want to take 5 minutes, right?